Once upon a time, there was a village in a land far, far away. The folks in this village lived happily and in peace. However, this village was getting dirtier every day because of the people's uncleanliness and carelessness. One day, rats infested the village, filling all of its streets, alleys, and even the insides of the houses. Thousands of rats were running along the streets and inside the houses. There was no escape from the rats. They were even in the bedrooms or the kitchens. The rats chewed on everything they found, and they built their nests inside shoes, hats, and even in the rooms of the houses. The folks of the village didn't know what to do. They asked the village headman to find a solution to this problem. Every day, the people of the village would gather in front of the headman's house and yell, "Find a solution to the rats! Disease will take over our village! Clean our village from the rats!" The headman was desperate, but he didn't let the villagers notice this and told them that he would fix the situation. So, one day, a tall man with weird clothing made of a pied fabric arrived in the village, which the people had started to call the Rat Village. The man passed through the entire village with his odd appearance and arrived at the headman's house. The headman was holding a meeting with the village elders, but the man asked to speak with him. One of the village elders looked at the man's pied clothing and mockingly asked the man, "Are you working in a circus?" Everyone in the hall started laughing at this question. The man did not bat an eye and replied, "If you give me a bag of gold, I will remove the rats from your village." The village elders, surprised at the man's offer, were joyful at first, but they couldn't trust the man so easily, so they asked, "Really? So what is your occupation?" The man started to explain himself. "They call me the Piper. I travel the world and protect people against bad and filthy creatures. I have a gift that nobody could guess. I can enthrall them with my pipe and lure them away," he said. When the village heard of the man's gift, even though no one believed him, they collected a bag of gold and gave it to the headman. All they wanted was to be free of the rats. When the piper learned that his request was accepted, he went to the village square and started to play his pipe. The sound coming out of the pipe was so sweet and so beautiful that the rats started to leave their hiding places and come to the village square to the piper's side. Thousands of rats gathered around the piper in a short period of time. And when all of the rats in the village arrived, the piper started to walk. The Pied Piper played his pipe, and the rats followed him. Then they arrived at a river, and the piper entered the water and started walking to the opposite shore, ignoring the current. Of course, the rats also entered the river, following the piper, but the current was too strong for the little rats, and it carried the rats downstream, far from the village. The piper continued playing his pipe until every single rat entered the river and was taken away by the current. After a while, making sure all of the rats were gone, the piper decided to return to the village to collect his prize. He walked with pride, happy because he had completed his mission and removed all of the rats from the village. As he walked, he thought, "I'll receive my bag of gold. Then I'll go to the city to use my gold to start a business. This way I can become one of the rich and start living in comfort." With these sweet dreams, the Pied Piper arrived at the headman's house and asked for his prize. The headman thought, "There aren't any rats left in the village, so I don't have to give him the bag of gold," and he broke the agreement. He made several excuses to the piper and did not give the gold. When the piper realized that he was tricked, he got very angry and said, "I will make you pay for this." He started to play his pipe as he started walking. This time, the children of the village, hearing the pipe sound, started to run to the piper's side. The piper continued walking as he played his pipe, and all of the children followed him. Soon after, no children were left in the village. The parents were stricken with grief and didn't know what to do. The folks of the village went to the headman and said, "What will we do now? You should have given the piper's bag of gold. He earned it. See what he has done? He took our children away." Meanwhile, the piper continued to walk in anger and arrived at a forest with the children following him. While he was resting under a tree in the forest, he thought of returning to the village and asking the headman for his prize once more. He left the children with the trustable and happy animal friends and set off for the village. When he arrived at the village, even the headman was blaming himself, scared for his children. The people saw the piper and started to beg him to bring their children back. The headman apologized to the piper and gave his bag of gold. "Please bring our children back. I apologize deeply. Please forgive me," he cried. The Pied Piper took his gold and started to play his pipe. The children started to come back to the village with all of their animal friends. The parents ran to their children and hugged them with joy. As he was leaving, the piper turned to the village folk and said, "The rats will return to this village, and you will again suffer bad things." At first, the people did not understand and were shocked. The piper added, "Your village is very dirty. All kinds of diseases and foul things can grow in this unclean place. That's why you will live through the same things again if you continue like this." The people said they would take care of it, and with good wishes, sent off this weird-looking but good-hearted piper who had taught them a very important lesson.